844-500-4242. 844-500-4242. By the way, our special this week is Howie Carr mugs, 25th anniversary, 16-ounce mugs, 2 for $14.99. These are the last time you're ever going to have a chance to buy these mugs. I'm holding them up for our Newsmax cameras right now. $14.99. You can buy them at HowieCarrShow.com, HowieCarrShow.com. And click on store, and they're a great buy. And if you don't need them right now, just set them aside for a nice Christmas present for the Howie Carr Show fan in your family. Joining us now on the line is Ann Coulter, the author of the best-selling New York Times books, among others, In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome. Ann, who's going to be the nominee tonight that's going to be announced at 9 o'clock Eastern?
Oh, please, God, let it be Judge Kavanaugh.
Really? Yes, you'd prefer him to Amy Coney Barrett so that the left could go nuts about the fact that she has 7 kids?
You know, I thought she'd be fun, but No. Put Kavanaugh on. No, he is trustworthy. He'll upset them just as much. I mean, even our side doesn't know enough about Barrett. It's if you have no other information, the fact that someone or a position upsets liberals is a very good,
that's my fallback
marker. But that's not all there is, because they were upset about Souter, too. And we don't really know what her... I mean, okay, she's a big Catholic. She has 7 kids. That's going to upset liberals. But she could be a big Catholic with 7 kids who opposes the death penalty. I mean, remember all those Catholic nuns who kept getting killed by Latin American governments because they were fighting with the communist insurgents? Oh, my gosh, how about the Catholic bishops? So just because liberals will go crazy, true, that would be fun, but this is not the nominee to be agricultural secretary or HHS secretary. Let's have her get a record first.
You know, I just want to bounce something off you, Ann. I read it. Did you read the Wall Street Journal editorial today? A justice with a record?
No, I can save so much time. Any sentence that begins, "Did you read the Wall Street Journal?" The answer will always be no.
Well, here's what amused me. I must say, I read deeply into it. Mr. Hardiman, Thomas Hardiman, he's another one he's kind of an outsider. I think Kavanaugh and Barrett are the front runners, but it's Thomas Hardiman of the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. That's Pittsburgh. Mr. Hardiman is said to be easier to confirm because he had a hard scrabble upbringing. And hard scrabble. His family owned some taxi cabs in Waltham, Massachusetts, and a liquor store. Three of my kids, Ann, including the ones you know, were born in Waltham, Massachusetts. And so I looked him up, and he wasn't even born in Hardscrabble, Waltham, Massachusetts. He was born in Winchester, who no one in their right mind would describe as Hardscrabble. Where do they come up with words like this? You know, hard scrabble.
That is fantastic. That is such a great point, Howie. The silver spoon elites, you know, anything, oh my gosh, he went to a public school, that poor child, he's disadvantaged. No, I will say that Hardiman, there are many impressive things about him, but danger, Will Robinson. He works for IUTA, a George Soros-funded immigrant rights group. There's your first little telltale sign. As I said on Twitter, you know, you don't have to be picky about your Supreme Court nominees, but could we get one who didn't has not been subsidized by George Soros? Surely that is available in this great land of ours. He's had a few really crappy decisions on immigration. Kethledge, total open border zealot. And again, he's a very nice person, and on other things he's very good. And personally, Kethledge would be the best for me. We went to the same law school. We rather worked for the same United States senator. It would be fantastic personally for me, but I care about the country, and this is a lifetime appointment. Meanwhile, Brett Kavanaugh, bless his soul, oh my gosh, he has had fantastic rulings, totally down with the MAGA agenda, talking about protectionist rules and saying, well, it was the intent. I mean, he's looking at the intent of the United States Congress to protect U.S. businesses against foreign competition. In an immigration case, the best one, it was an NLRB case. He said, sorry, illegal immigrant foreigner, the NLRB is to protect American employees, not foreign employees. So, no, you don't come under the strictures of this act. I would love to go into the midterms with the Democrats attacking Kavanaugh on some of his immigration decisions. No, we do not want to protect American workers. How dare you, Mr. Kavanaugh?
Well, the thing about getting back to Hardiman for a second, you said just because he went to public schools, but he didn't even go to public schools. He went to like elite Catholic universities, Notre Dame and Georgetown.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I was just hypothesizing the mentality.
The thing is, but I guess, on the Supreme Court, going to Notre Dame and Georgetown, that makes you hard scrabble. That makes you a street guy, because everybody else went to Harvard or Yale.
Yes. Well, I hope you will not hold that against Judge Kavanaugh. He did go Yale undergrad, Yale law, but look, he's probably not someone, I don't know any of these people personally, so unlike almost everyone else leaping in to comment on the nominees, I don't have a dog in this fight. As I say, the one guy who would be most useful to me personally, the only one I know, is the one I consider the most dangerous on the most important issue before the country, and that's Ray Kethledge on immigration. He's for open borders. He will disregard law if he can rule for a criminal immigrant, as we know from the record he's assembled. But okay, Kavanaugh probably isn't somebody you and I would like to go out drinking with. He's a nerdy Federalist type, and it's so outrageous. I mean, you can see how the New York Times and the Washington Post really don't want Democrats to have to face Kavanaugh because they keep describing him, showing pictures of him with George Bush. Oh, he's a Bushy, worked for the Bush administration. Okay, I want to say on this point, this is not like a regular Bush employee or a campaign guy or something. If you are a
when they say Bush, but Ann, you know what they're saying. Ann, when you know what they're saying when they're saying Bush, when they're saying he's a Bush guy, they're saying Souter. They're saying Souter. No,
they're not. They're trying to get
because
you're totally missing the point, Howie. No.
But Souter was Bush's guy.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The New York Times is really worried about another Souter. They want to remind Trump, don't make it a Souter. No, I promise you, the New York Times and the Washington Post do not want to remind Trump of Souter. They want him to forget about that.
But what they are
trying to communicate to the president is, you don't want this guy. He worked for Bush. And what I was starting to say is, this is different if you are a lawyer. If you're a lawyer who is public service minded, if you want to work in government, you take the administration that exists. Lots of our most impressive lawyers. I mean, Scalia, what did he work for? Nixon and Ford? Rehnquist worked for Nixon. You work for whatever Republican administration exists, and that is good for the country to get smart right-wing lawyers working for whatever administration exists. It's not like working on the Bush campaign. We have no idea who Kavanaugh voted for.
Yeah, well, the best thing about Kavanaugh is Steve gave me this, my producer, on Friday from a book about the whole Lewinsky thing. He worked for Ken Starr. He was one of the assistant prosecutors, and he sent out a list right before they questioned Clinton, President Clinton, before their grand jury. And have you seen the questions that he wanted to ask Bill Clinton?
No, I'd love to see that.
Oh, you got, Ann, you'll be tweeting them.
I'll have to send it to you, Ann, because they're kind of X-rated.
Yeah, we tweeted them out though, right? We tweeted, didn't we, on Friday?
I'm sure I saw them at the time. That entire scandal was pretty X-rated. No, okay. So why doesn't the Washington Post run a picture of him standing with Ken Starr? No,
They should run a picture of him standing next to the sink next to the sink in the Oval Office, because that's one of the questions that he wanted to ask Bill Clinton. I mean,
it's not like he was coming up with these questions out of his lurid fantasies.
But I loved them. They were yeah. He said the guy is terrible. He said there's only one way we shouldn't ask him these questions, and that's if he resigns out of shame for the disgrace that he has brought upon himself and the office and the United States of America with his despicable behavior with the 22-year-old intern.
Absolutely right.
He was exactly.
Look,
yeah.
The New York Times op-ed writers and editorial writers said the same thing when the story first broke. It took even the left-wing media many months to come around to the pre-Me Too movement when they defended sexual predators. But when that story first broke, what you're describing is, it shows that Kavanaugh is a sane human being. But the stuff about the sink, that was testimony they had that from Monica Lewinsky. They said that he used to, and not only the sink, but in George Stephanopoulos' outbox that the president used to finish off in Stephanopoulos' outbox. I'm sorry, if witnesses are telling you that,
Good Morning
you have
America.
to ask the guy who perjured himself those questions.
Yeah, by the way, I just got a text from, people know the Hardimans around here, obviously. The Hardimans are good people, good Catholics, good values, solid Republicans. Tom's father, Bob, is a great guy and was well respected in Waltham. He's now retired, distantly related through marriage. Yes, 781, but do they come from a hard scrabble background? They only owned one liquor store, after all, and they only owned a few cab medallions, and his mother was the bookkeeper.
I want to say something to 781 here. As I said, even before hearing your text, he seems like a lovely person. He might be great running for Senate, maybe even president someday. We are talking about a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court. So many of these appointed by Republicans have gone bad, from starting with Brennan and Warren and Souter and Roberts. Why doesn't Ann have health care? Because Roberts upheld an unconstitutional
and supposedly Kavanaugh
system.
helped him. That's one of the knocks on Kavanaugh, that he helped him come up with this convoluted legal theory that he could impose a tax.
Nonsense. He did not.